am a small part of the world. I have a small hand which to hold. But I
Schools are the heart of a lot of communities. A place to come together and have a history and a dream for our future.
so strong and bold.
I am a small.
The embracing of all human beings who enter here, and that they're all respected, that they're all important, that they all matter. That's what a public education does for you.
Milestone for education in North Carolina. For the first time ever, more than 80% of students are now graduating from high school. It's an incredible mark considering where we were just 6 years ago.
North Carolina takes pride in its public schools and the state constitution that guarantees every child's education. We lead the nation in certified teachers, and we're admired for our early childhood education programs and public university system. Our public schools serve as an economic engine to generate jobs, and they make our state a great place to live and raise a family.
And we want to continue to invest very heavily in North Carolina because we think the state fundamentally gets how important this is.
That's why our state won National Race to the Top grants that will further strengthen our public schools.
I'm just a huge fan of what's going on in North Carolina. I think North Carolina is helping lead the country where we need to go.
So why, as we're headed in the right direction, would politicians in the General Assembly want to change course and radically restructure our public schools?
I do have somewhat of a dream that we discarded all of those principles and just made all of the traditional public schools charter schools. That would be...
You heard that right. The House Majority Leader wants to discard our public schools in favor of privately run schools. He made that statement in 2010 to members of the Tea Party, Civitas, and the John Locke Foundation. 3 right-wing groups that want to shift public school funding over to private hands. In 2011, against the advice of education experts, these interests pushed through a bill to speed up the spread of for-profit, privately managed, virtual, and charter schools. In 2013, their agenda is school vouchers.
This is a tax credit of $2,500 a year for those leaving the public schools and going to either private or home school education. The term voucher polls way below tax credits. So get it out of your vocabulary. Don't let anybody talk about it.
Call it vouchers, call it tuition tax credit, call it whatever you want to call it. You're saying take money away when we don't have enough money. That's a problem.
Such controversial voucher programs divert public funds to private schools, including religious schools. 2/3 of Americans oppose vouchers, as does the National PTA. In fact, the vast majority of states do not permit them.
When you talk about vouchers, that money has to come from somewhere, and it's going to come out of the education fund. Not only will the dollars leave, the children will leave. So you'll have smaller schools. And when you have smaller schools, you cannot provide as a wider range of opportunities in that school as you could if you had a larger student body and more income coming into that school. And that will schools will take a big hit.
North Carolina already lags behind the rest of the nation in funding public schools. But politicians who want to privatize our schools say that's all right. In the end, they argue, making our schools compete for students will improve them.
Choice and competition always gives better results, even for the people left in the public schools who choose that. And so we're pushing that. Thank you very much.
There's no evidence for that. I've looked at lots and lots of studies from different countries around the world. There's no evidence that this competitive mechanism is what leads to better schools.
Researchers at George Washington University compiled 10 years of studies on vouchers and concluded vouchers do not have a strong effect on academic achievement. Any gains for voucher students are similar to those of their public school peers. The report warned that before state legislators move to quickly enact new voucher programs, they should consider the evidence.
Research shows that they're not effective to improve student achievement. That's a fact. That's just a fact.
So this notion that competition is going to improve our education system just doesn't hold water.
The ideas of the corporate reform movement come mainly from non-educators. They refuse to listen to anyone who disagrees with them, and they refuse to consider evidence, even very powerful evidence, that their story may be wrong.
Diane Ravitch is one of our country's most esteemed education scholars. She and her colleagues have been sounding the alarm against privatizing our nation's public schools.
They want to change it from a community institution with doors open to all, serving democratic purposes, into a privately managed, deregulated, private sector activity funded with government dollars.
It is big business. Think about all the children that we're educating in this country.
That's exactly what Wall Street is thinking. And that's why a recent conference in Manhattan attracted 100 venture capitalists to discuss the $500 billion a year that flows through U.S. schools. One investor told a Reuters reporter that the profits to be made from privatizing our schools could get really, really big.
Our public charter schools are wise addition to your investment portfolio.
Probably the charter school business we said is our highest growth and most appealing segment right now of the portfolio. It's the most high in demand, it's the most recession resistant, and great opportunity set with 500 schools starting every year.
Do we really want Wall Street investors meddling in our schools?
If you look at what they've attempted to do in various places, well as Louisiana or in other places, they've gone into and said up front, we'll take it over, we'll manage it better, and we'll make a profit as a result of that. That hasn't proven to be true, and nor have they upped the level of achievement of children.
But facts aren't stopping corporate executives seeking to profit from our schools. Heartwarming ads with dubious promises mislead parents, while campaign contributions sway legislators. Just last year, an organization that supports private schools flew Speaker of the House Tom Tillis and a group of North Carolina lawmakers to Florida for a luxury weekend with a sales pitch for privatizing our schools. Later, the Political Action Committee for that organization made campaign contributions to 6 of the 11 lawmakers on the trip. Together, these PACs and their financial backers pose a grave threat to public schools in every corner of our state.
This is a tax credit.
We can't just sit back and let the privatization movement roll over us. I think what's happening now is people are fighting for the soul of education. Yeah. And those of us who are committed to preserving the public interest think this is a crucial fight for us to wage.